You're listening to the Practical Wealth Show with Curtis May.
Welcome to another episode of the Practical Wealth Show. So today we're going to talk about cryptos and that whole space. And I have C. Will on here. C. Will, he had me on his show teaching principles-based planning and talking about the madness that we talk about here in the Practical Wealth Show to his audience. So I said, he's told me, well, yeah, I work in the crypto space. And I was like, all right, that's a blind spot for me because if I don't know it, I don't do it. I'm like Buffett like that. And so it's definitely a blind spot. And so what you're going to hear is my ignorance. Is asking him questions. And so y'all get to listen in as he schools me, hopefully schools y'all about opportunities you're missing. Because people ask me, what do you think about it? I don't think anything about it. And I'm not giving you any advice. But what we do on the show is I bring you experts. Okay. And so tell me a little about I told him how we met, but how'd you get into this, what you do now and how you help people? And let's just have your little background, how you got into it. And then let's teach these people about the money they're missing out on.
Yes, sir.
Including me. Now teach me. Okay. Y'all just get to listen. He's teaching me. All right,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Thanks for the invite, Curtis. Nice collaboration. So my background, originally I got into crypto about 2018. Just a random guy is like, hey, check this out. And I was interested because I'm always interested in money making and figuring out how to come up. So I definitely was in and out the space just trying to educate myself. But in early 2020 is when I really tapped in and, put my 10,000 hours in just like obsessively studying crypto, learning about the white papers, the founders, all the terms, and then just experimenting with these blockchains.
Okay.
So that's kind of like how I got in the space. And I ended up creating a similar what you do to bring experts on so I can also educate myself. And then as my brand grows, Passive Income Network, which is the brand, the podcast, and like the whole business. Once that brand grew, I got connected with a particular blockchain called Algorand. The Algorand blockchain, invented by Silvio Macaulay, this Turing award-winning developer that's all about mathematics, right? So now I am an Algorand champion, or we can call it an ambassador. I help represent and expand this blockchain. So I'm like literally involved with them, and I had to join up. So yeah, so that's pretty much where I'm at right now. Currently, again, I run my podcast, so educating people. And as I say, you were on the show. I have people, basically, if you're involved with financial literacy, and particularly if you have passive income assets in your portfolios or your fund manager, CEOs, those type of things, definitely that's the people I like to have on my show. And also founders of NFT projects, and we could dive in deeper on NFT. So I have those type of people. And then solo, I make different educational videos, and mostly for people who are new to the space, to break down these concepts of smart contracts, to break down what a blockchain, the basics of the technology. And then I create tutorials to actually show people how to use it. So that's using decentralized finance, how to mint NFTs and things of that nature. And courses and coaching is something I also.
All right, great. So then I want you to tell them where to go to find out more about it, because we're not going to get all on the call, but I want to introduce you to it. So let's talk about, because I'll tell you some about, because it's just, I'm going to tell you my hang up. So we're just
go ahead.
Gonna unhang up me, right? Yep. And so because I view it, we're just going to keep it real. I view it as a speculative asset. Okay. And they say cryptocurrency, until I want to be paid in it, it's not money. Okay. So that's my thought. That's, and so, like, to me, it's digital gold. Gold is gold. Crypto is not gold, right? I don't view the digital gold. And so I don't like that it's a man-made thing. And now I know I'm lunching. Okay. So that's a Philly term. Lunching means I know what I'm talking about, but
I catch the context.
or I'm missing something, right? Yeah. For those of you who don't speak Ebonics, no. All right. So let's talk. So what was your discovery of, like, because there's different terms. There's crypto people, there's Bitcoin. It's just one of a couple thousand cryptocurrencies.
Yes.
Right. I do understand that. And then there's blockchain, which is what this stuff is built on.
Yes. So,
okay. So talk about that.
Yep. Okay. So we'll start with Bitcoin, the original cryptocurrency. And if you go by market capitalization, Bitcoin is about 45% of the whole market.
Okay.
So Bitcoin is, we can call that like the S&P 500 of crypto. And when we think about Bitcoin, as you brought up before, as a reference of digital gold, yeah, it was created to be a store of value and a decentralized peer-to-peer transfer. So essentially a digital dollar bill. That's pretty much what Bitcoin is. And that's what it still is created for. And it's still happening. And I understand what you mean by like, you wouldn't want to receive that money. We're not quite there yet. It's more of again, digital gold is the best way to explain Bitcoin. And so when we talk about the underlying technology, that's called blockchain, which is essentially how I explain it. It's a digital ledger system that tracks assets, which are the tokens of we'll stick with Bitcoin, which are the coins, right? So it's the withdrawing and the sending and receiving, and that's what it's actually tracking.
Okay.
Right? And then you have what they call blockchain explorers, which are public databases where you can tap in, like how Google, and you can type in transaction IDs, you can see who owns what, right? But there's a ability to anonymous, right? Because everything is in strings and numbers. So you don't technically know who owns what, but you know someone is moving these monies around. So yeah, blockchain technology is basically a Google of financial technology, pretty much, blockchain. And so then this number 2 crypto would be Ethereum. And Ethereum is the financial technology that kind of changed the game even more by allowing something they call smart contracts. Smart contracts is basically, we got a lawyer in the middle, they're writing up an agreement, and then we fulfill that agreement, but we have a centralized party that is helping us fulfill that agreement. With the blockchain and crypto, you have basically a code, as they call code is law. So you have someone write the code, and then that's how we can transact with each other in a decentralized way. Like, I don't need to know who you are. You don't need to know who I am. But because of the blockchain technology, we can then transact with each other anonymously, just like we would with a dollar bill.
Right.
But it's on
now, see, I like that. I like the whole decentralization thing, which also worries me because the powers that be don't like decentralization, right? Which is the whole purpose of Bitcoin. So the libertarian part of Curtis completely gets it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's too, for currency, it's too volatile for me.
Yes, it's very volatile. Like, okay, I'll say this. Is when you think about the crypto, it's the utility of it, right? So they say, what's the fastest way to move $1 million from, say, US to Africa or overseas? They would say not the banks, because you got to go through all the processing. It's going to take fees. It might take you 5 to 7 days to get everything processed. So they say the quickest way is to get on the plane, grab the money, and fly it over in 17 hours. Well, Bitcoin, we can move that.
You can't do that because it'll only take 10 grand. Right. So
exactly. Yeah.
Right.
So even worse, you can't do that.
Right. Can't do that.
A private plane or something. Right. So with Bitcoin, you can take that same amount of money and move it across overseas in 8 minutes for a few dollars. 8 minutes.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So that right there. And then
I've heard people that have left, like, what's the Ukraine or what is it, Argentina?
No, I think it would be El Salvador.
Some country in South America, like that's their national currency now.
El Salvador. Yeah, it's legal tender, that legal in the US dollar. Yeah.
And then and the mayor of Florida is trying to, not Florida, mayor of Miami.
Yeah, in New York.
The capital of crypto and Caribbean. The whole Cuba, the whole Miami but that's all right. Something's going on that Curtis don't understand. Right. That's what I mean. I know there's a blind spot because I'm thinking I'm listening to people like Peter Schiff, so he don't like nothing if it ain't gold. So I was like, all right, I gotta move away from him.
Yeah, I don't like that guy.
I do like, and now he's starting to say some stuff I don't like, but I actually overall, because I understand what's it called, Austrian economics. So like when he predicts stuff, once you understand Austrian economics and the business cycle theory, you can see why so many economists get things wrong, because you really understand, or it helped me understand the flow. Like when I was doing equities, I wanted to know, I would have these crashes. I was like, why is this happening? And then when I got into understanding the booms and busts that the Fed creates, which is another, I know that is what, like, people think inflation is higher prices, right? Inflation is an increase in the money supply, right? So when you print all this money, it's got to go somewhere. So I see it flowing into real estate, into equities, into Bitcoin, right? Because they want to store it somewhere safe, decentralized. And so that flux of money is what drives up the price. That's inflation.
Yeah.
Because
Inflation
inflation
the money
means
is
to
being
expand.
devalued.
Yeah. And so what happens is all of the people bidding, like, so for example, if you going to get a house and everybody got a lot of money, so they're bidding the house
Higher.
up, that all the same dollars chasing goods is what drives up prices. And so the effect of monetary inflation, you see the effects of that is price inflation. So price inflation is really results. A lot of people don't get it when I talk about on the news. And so if you don't understand this, you wondering why the president's fault and we're gonna fix it. You don't have the power to fix it, really.
No.
Right. They're just trying to get elected. So you gotta stop looking for a savior. Or
Facts.
the theme of my show, is stop looking for somebody to save your butt, right? And
Save
learn the
yourself.
game and save yourself. That's the theme of the James Brown song. I don't want to. I know I'm gonna date myself when you might know James Brown. I don't want
know
nobody
James
to give me nothing. Open up the door, get it myself. Right? That's the theme of the Practical Wealth Show. He says dough. Open up the door. I get it myself.
Yeah, same thing.
And so anyway, all right. So off on my tangent. All right. So
no, you good.
Why talk about smart contracts? So I want to go over some terminology and utility, how to use it. What is it for? How does this help me as a business person? And then we'll start with that, the utility of it. And then I want to get into how you see it going forward and how do you make money and why should I be thinking about positioning some of my capital there?
Yep. Okay. So let me go a little back because you brought up a good
where you want to
point
go because I'm rambling. Okay.
Yeah, about the inflation, right?
Yes.
So as we clearly have seen in 2020 with COVID, right? Money has no cap. And we all know back in history, 1971, they removed the gold standard. So now we have a petrodollar, basically. So it's no cap. It's not backed by anything but the military. So that's established. Bitcoin was created in the 2008, 2009 crash. But the great part about Bitcoin, it is finite. We know that in 2140, the last Bitcoin will be on the market. So we have a timestamp date when basically a relative little window of a few months of when the last coin will be out. And there's only 21 million ever that could be minted. Gold, we actually don't know how much gold is minted because they can keep mining and mining, right? And then the US dollar, they can keep minting more money, and that's why we get deflated. So that's a big part of Bitcoin of why it's powerful. And then as we jump over to the smart contract, you got blockchains like Ethereum, Algorand, Solana, right? All these different blockchains. The cool part about these is then you can now build another layer on where you can then, like I talked about before, you can program these platforms to do what you want them to do. So a great example, I use this site called Lofty AI, and it's built with Algorand. And it helps business tokenize or fractionalize real estate for investors. So it's similar to a real estate REIT, but it's like a group of investors like us will put our money together and we're buying a tokenized house in the Midwest that costs $200K, right? They'll take that property and break each token down that's representative of that property, just like a share. They'll break it down to make each one $50. So now us non-accredited investors, regular people can put our $50 together and go own a house together. And that's like just one use case.
A real house.
A real house, not a real estate REIT.
Right.
No, it's just, and then what it is that they use the Algorand blockchain to facilitate that, the records and the transactions, right? So we still got to do a KYC, know your customer. We still have to do those things to be registered with the SEC. But if we look at our digital wallet, that token representation is there. So if I own 5 tokens of this house, I'm now a part owner, and then my name will be on the deed and all those things. And now I'm also a voter of when, say, our tenant doesn't pay their rent. I can vote on how we're going to handle that. I can vote on repairs. I'm an owner of this property, and I can sell out to other investors as well. So that's like one.
That's how you would exit if you wanted to. You could, other people that were part of that, for lack of a better word, cohort, or can just buy your shares.
Out. Yes, exactly. Okay. So, and then pretty soon, like a marketplace. So that's like one example, right? Another great example is music royalties. It's a similar situation. I bought into a song, right? Little Pump. And the same thing, they send me a token. Quarterly, they collect royalties. So these type of things are centralized, but also decentralized.
So wait, let's start with there. Is that actually generating real cash flow, or you're getting
real cash flow?
You're getting the token.
The token is a
in the currency, U.S. currency, or
so these platforms, one is set up this way. You can take go back to Lofty AI, the real estate one, they pay out daily, right? So real estate REITs, like I got a monthly real estate REIT that pays me monthly. I like this one a little better because I got the real house ownership equity and not the stock price, right? And then they pay out daily. So every day it sends money to my account because of the rentals and all that. And I can choose to take it in cryptocurrency, a stable coin. I could take it in like an Algorand or a Bitcoin type token, or they can send it directly to my bank account. So it just gives us more options
in dollars.
In dollars, yes, USD.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you want the slow way, you can take the cash and they'll send it directly to your bank account, the bank transfer, or you can be paid in 4 seconds and they'll send it to you in crypto. So it's like, it depends on what you want to do. Another good example of a smart contract is what they call decentralized finance. And that's like, you talk about infinite banking. This is where you can just use the internet to bank yourself via cryptocurrency and earn interest yields, all trustless, basically, all anonymous, but everything is verified via the codes, and the contracts are audited. So they do their due diligence. There is risk there, just like with everything. You got to know which platforms to be using. So now those are
right. So that goes back to, this is kind of where your courses, videos show. That's because, so we go back to, this is kind of why I wanted to have Sewell on. I always tell people, and we talked about on the show, y'all know investing is not about buying something. It's more about becoming. So what did you start, 2017, 18?
Yes.
See, so since then he's been becoming, investing in his number one asset, himself, mindset, skill set, network. And that, see, but because y'all want to see, most of y'all hearing this, I should say that way.
No, speak your truth.
You want a magic pill. I want to put this in. I want to go from 500 to 50,000. I want to cash out and become a millionaire. And I always view that as that commercial goes, oh yeah, we're going to.
I'm a millionaire.
I'm a millionaire. No. I'm a millionaire. No. That's how what I think. Okay. That's my that's how what I think about it, which I know is skewed, but people are looking for like an easy button. And I think that because if you don't know why it works or how it works, you're gambling.
Yes.
You're involved because you have fear of missing out, but you don't really know what's going on. And so that's my fear. That's why I wanted to bring, I want him to know what it is. And you got to research it.
You got
do the homework. You got to research it. And so you don't just buy it because he said it's good. Educate it.
Yeah.
And where does it fit? This is kind of where I help people at. All right, you like this? Where does it fit in your overall game plan? Right? Of our 5 principles, right? And where do you put it? This will fall under principle 5, velocity, okay, and assets and that kind of stuff. But so talk about, well, what should I've asked you that you want to continue on? I'm just all in.
No, we just go flow. I like what you're doing. I'm hopping in and out. I got so much info that I'm like, let's let you.
Right. Let's just talk.
And I'll just kind of be responsive.
So, all right, so we talk about block. What is an NFT?
Oh,
I'll show you how ignorant I am. All right, go.
Yeah. So NFT, it stands for non-fungible token, right? Okay. So the audience really pay attention here. When we talk about fungible, right? That's like you grab a dollar bill, whether it's a crumpled dollar bill or a half-ripped dollar bill, it's still $1, right? 4 quarters fungible to 10 or 100 pennies, right? That's all interchangeable. They all represent $1. Non-fungible is the opposite of that. They don't represent the same thing as something else, right? So for a good example is like you take a rookie Jordan card, that is, and if you crumple up another Jordan rookie card, they don't have the same value anymore because they're non-fungible. They're not interchangeable. We would want the Jordan card that is freshly still in the case from 85 or whatever, right? You wouldn't want the one that's all wrinkled and faded. It won't have the same value. So that's like kind of a concept with the tokens, right? So NFT is a non-fungible token. It's a representation of either a digital asset or a real world asset. And that's what I was talking about with the housing. You can have an NFT that represents your share of something, or it could literally be a digital piece of artwork. That's like this most simplest examples. And
so
they have
people are saying they're building intellectual property. Book, Grayson Gretzky rookie card. I know somebody that, that kind of, but artwork maybe. I don't understand that. I don't understand what. So if I've got
I know where you're going. Okay. If you got a Mona Lisa, right?
Right.
You put the real one on your wall, right? if someone takes a picture of it and then they print it out and put it on their wall, that does not mean they own it, right?
Right.
And so there's a thing of Web 2 thinking and Web 3 thinking. Web 2 would be right click, as we know how to do. You right click and you save the image on your desktop. And that's what everybody was saying in the beginning. Oh, I own it now. You be like, if I go to the blockchain, I can look and see you don't own it. Because right, when you go these NFT explorers, right? Say I got this piece of Mona Lisa art and there's 10 of them ever minted or created. It's 10. And I can go look, type it in as the owner and be like, who all owns my NFT? And I can see the 10 people. But the guy that right clicks and says he own it, he doesn't own it because the blockchain doesn't represent it. That's like when you go to your bank account, you see where you sent the dollar and where that dollar came from. You just can't go to your bank account and just type in a dollar and just make money appear. So it's the same with the NFTs. They're actually, it is related to minting of gold. You have to actually have something and then create it. And now once it's created, it is recorded on a global digital ledger that anybody can see. It's very transparent. You can see the date and time that it was created. And that's what's very important about the whole NFTs, and they're great for ownership representation, right? That's
of intellectual property.
Yes, of intellectual property.
Like I will say, I'm doing a course, or I've got this book, or I'm developing this course. I've heard of somebody that Laurel Ameyer talks about NFTs, and I'm like, all right, I don't understand it, what they're investing in, and I am really stupid. All right, so
it's a little tricky because it's one of these things, right? It's like, where's your imagination at? Like, or what could you pull off? So for some people, it is as simple as like, hey, I made this digital art. I put it online. I want to sell it. And it means nothing after beyond that. Just like a song, right? I make some music into NFTs and I sell the song. But now this way, the key is once someone buys my song as an NFT, they forever are connected to me in my wallet, right? So if I at any time want to say, hey, whoever owns this NFT, you can get into my event. If you don't own the NFT, you can't get in. That's a utility right there. And I can make up something or do something at any time, right? Or I can be like, hey, you bought my song. Now I'm gonna give you a slice of the real royalties because you supported me, but only if you own this asset ID. And then that puts value there, and the other people could flip it, right? And sell it because they want what that creator is giving out for happening.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like this dude, Gary V, if you study him, he got something called VCon. So he sold his NFTs, right? They bought them, but now what they get is 3-year access to his events because they're an owner of his NFT. So that's huge to be able to go to a private event. So if someone wanted to buy a ticket, they would have to then convince someone that owns an NFT of his to buy it from them to get access. Otherwise, they can't get in. So it's an exclusivity play is there. You can use it for ticketing. You can use it for royalties. You can use NFTs for crowdfunding. They do.
Like
right now. So we're doing it right now.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. So the VCon actually, first of the 4 or 5 day event is like happening right now. And he sold those NFTs 8-9 months ago. So that's like,
so give me a case. All right. So I create a second business. I'm doing for practical wealth education, doing coaching courses, membership programs.
Yep. Membership is perfect for NFTs.
Okay. So let's take my membership, the Money for Life Club. That what you said means nothing to me. Of actually how to formulate it. Conceptually, it's like, all right, so if let me say it and you correct me. So I told you it's gonna be
this is good.
Representative. Okay. So it's all right. I got this thing. Let's say it's $99 a month. But if you're a member, if I create other events, I could give you access to that because you support this. Or
in a sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's kind of like this, like, exactly. You got your membership going, right?
I got a guy, shout out Dave, who says he's made good money with NFTs. And I'm like, okay, I didn't really go there, but I was like, I don't really know what he's talking about and how you do. I thought it was you bought something here and it went up to there.
No, and that's the thing. Like, it's kind of like, that's why I love the card thing in the most simplest form, right? Buy the card, and then you are trying to sell the card to someone else who wants it more, right? That's the whole principles of almost everything.
Of trading, yeah.
Yeah, trading. You're trading. But as like a collector, like I was saying before, like a different example is this, like video gaming, right? This is perfect for NFTs. you play say a mobile game on your phone, some like Star Wars game or whatever. But we all do know once you're playing this game, you want to upgrade faster. So they say, hey, buy the upgrades in this game, which is like whatever, a gun or a shield or something. But with NFTs, you can actually sell them that thing. So they could use the shield or that weapon in the game. And then once they're done using that weapon, they could sell to somebody else who wants to get that weapon. And that's how people are making flips. So I played a video game. Now I'm bored. But what we do with our Xbox, we just turn the game off and it's over. You get nothing else out of it. But with non-fungible tokens, you could be like, now I'm going to sell my characters. I'm going to sell the land. I'm going to sell every piece of item in this game and get some of my money back or make more because they're finite. That's the reason why. And then if you're really into it, you'd be like, damn, I want to play this game and have the ownership. And maybe I can keep it as long as I want, as long as this thing is active. So it's like that. It's like, it makes things a little better. It's like reselling your used shoes. You could do that.
So, all right. So let's go back to the title of the show, passive income, right? Because our goal is
freedom.
Or different freedom, right? Passive income, greater expenses. And still don't understand where that's coming from. The income, like because that's it. I need income. I want it. So financial freedom, the way I define it, is being able to live like you want to live from the income from your personally invested assets without my labor being required. Okay. So that's, we call that getting to a position of FU. So that's the whole goal of practical wealth. We call it being in cash flow in the air.
FU money.
FU money. So you got to get to a position of FU. You can do what you want when you want without asking for permission or forgiveness. Or at least maybe forgiveness, but no permission, definitely.
So we talking about NFTs then in terms of passive?
I don't know what we're talking about. I just want, how do you generate cash? Whatever that you're saying that we can generate cash flow.
Well, my favorite
one thing, because I want them to call you, but like a thing.
One thing. Well, I'm not gonna do the real estate one again. I'm gonna do the music. Okay. This is why, and there's more platforms popping up, but it's like, what's your favorite artist? You say what's your favorite artist? Old school or new school? Old school.
The Isley Brothers.
Isley Brothers. Okay. This is the key right here. So the Isley Brothers, whatever year this is, they drop an album as an NFT. Right. So, and you're an owner of this NFT, and they're saying, hey, we're gonna send out royalties. So we split in this deal with our fans, right? And this is our Isley Brothers' first album. They're gonna blow up. They're gonna blow up, right? Or like modern day, somebody like, oh, I got Drake's album, right? Every time that album sells, you get a cut of it in quarterly payments and in perpetuity. So when, like right now, like was it Justin Timberlake just sold his catalog for $100 million? You would have entitlement to rights to that catalog when the Isley Brothers sell theirs for $100 million. So that's the cash flow of this type of
Did he just do that?
Yes.
So
he just sold his catalog,
right, but he didn't do it as an NFT, but if you bought it, you could make it NFT and then turn it to
like moving forward. If I'm a new artist, like Drake's like, hey, my next album is gonna be NFT, and we like, oh, Drake's album is gonna do 1 billion streams. You get a cut of those streams, and that's the passive income for sure.
Got it. And so are people doing that now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. There's an app that's developing on Algorand called Opolis, right? They're still in a beta phase, so it's still a slow rollout. But I invested it into a song with Soulja Boy and Lil Pump, right? So what they did was they raised $500,000, and they're in that $500,000 pays for half of the song. So they own, him and his label own 50%. Us investors own 50%. So when they do 1 billion streams, I think they did a couple of million already, like pretty fastly, because they got big audience. So once they start to collect their monies from, like, was it all the SandScan people or whatever the hell, the radio people start to pay out. If he gets a deal for a commercial with Nike and they use the song, right, all those royalties get collected. Us as those investors get half that money in perpetuity, because that's the deal we signed with the NFT. And then in our wallet, it shows a representation of our ownership, and we go to our dashboard, and every quarter money comes out, and then you have options of how you want to receive your money. It's that simple.
All right, got it. So
that's passive income.
Yeah. And so you could educate yourself, you could save. So I teach people to save 15, 20% of your income. And then if this is an asset class you like, then you could, once you have some money, figure out what you like and buy.
Real estate, right? Yeah. I'm talking about buying into music. They do different, especially there's a lot of real estate stuff coming up. But if you think about it, like even just crypto alone, we get when we put our money in the bank and our savings account, we get 0.025%, a quarter of 1%. Crypto, most cryptos that are legit, they're going to offer you at least 3, 4, 5%. Right? You can buy a stable coin and just earn 5, 6, 7, 8, 9% on your money. And it's the same reason why that people pay you. Like, banks are paying you to borrow out your money. These crypto projects are doing the same thing. Like we talked about when we was on my show, like collateral, like people are taking out loans against their money and they're doing other things with it. And then people like me is farming, or yield farming as they call it, and earning interest. And that's another way to do it. There's so many ways, but it's like, I would say now it's becoming an extension of like traditional finance. Right. Crypto is becoming an extension.
I mean, if you liked it and you understood it, let's say for our clients, you took a policy loan and put for $5,000 and the insurance company's charging you 4, right?
Yep.
And if you're getting what, 6, 7,
yeah, let's say 7,
then that spread is like, I don't know my time value money calculator, but that's a good 60% spread. Yeah. I mean, it's not like the points. It's more so I would calculate it, but I'll show the example where it's like a lot of times people will take I had a guy.
Yeah. Like you're talking about like an IUL, right?
No.
Okay.
And it's a curse word on my show, but
okay, we'll have to talk about that later. Okay.
It's whole life. We only do whole life, and infinite banking is only done with whole life. We don't like IULs are
indexed,
and I don't like how the contract works. So no. So you talk about contracts. So what you know about this, I know about IUL. So I don't like it, and we don't recommend it. So, but same thing. You got the spread, but the money's in the policy making money. So it's a case in point. So I had a guy borrow loan money. Somebody wanted a franchise. You owned him $50,000. He knew he could go to one of his policies, get the money for 4%.
Yeah.
He loaned the guy money at 8%.
That's a 4% spread. Yeah.
Right. But that is a 100% return.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
it's on your
spread, but it's not the spread. Yeah. So if
it's a return,
if you bought you had a hardware store and you bought hammers wholesale for $1, you sold them for $3 or $5. Yes, that spread, but what's the return on the money?
Yeah,
see, so
return,
it's wholesale retail, and what people don't do, and what I try to teach, you got to start how do banks make money? Like because all they buy it wholesale, they sell it retail. So now, if you can add leverage, you can control the banking system, then you can make every transaction you do way more profitable.
Facts. Yes.
And it's understanding that, and then because that just is another place to deploy your capital. But now you don't have to take it out of your savings accounts to buy crypto. You can, if you like that asset class, you can leverage your policies, for example, and buy into that asset, and you just have to manage the money. But now you've got the spread, your money's still in there.
Yep.
You take your profit, you pay your loan back. Now I have people do it with silver and gold. They buy $5,000 of silver. They pay their policy loan back out of cash flow. So now they got the silver and they got their money rehab to go do something else. So now, and so I call it being on your own gold and silver standard, right? So if you can, because you want to, if the government's not going to do it, you can do it, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And so it's just, but the main thing is you have to change how you think. So you're helping me change how I think. You are getting through. All right. So tell them about I forget the name, the thing you're in. That you're an ambassador for.
Yeah. So Algorand blockchain, it's a green carbon neutral blockchain, right? And it's a global organization as well. And so I'll just give a couple highlights real quick too. Recently, so I would put Algorand in the category of a blockchain, or a layer 1, as they call it, a layer 1 blockchain, in like more of governments and institutions, right? And I like it because of that reason. So recently, they set up a deal with the government of Nigeria, over 200 million people, the biggest economy basically in Africa. They set up a deal to create a national wallet that Nigerians will use to store like intellectual property and all the things of that nature that has to do with those. So that's huge. And they also got a deal with FIFA, which is the soccer or global football organization. Over 200 companies are involved. And they're same sort of deal of doing their digital strategy, which is a digital wallets and all that. So what I'm pointing at is that they're working with governments and organizations on their digital strategies, because that's where we're all going regardless. Swift banking system is slower than crypto. So these type of things are start to get implemented. And Algorand, just a couple more stats, is also a recognized, was it ISO 220, which is the banking standards of crypto. So the Swift banking systems and all the global organizations are recognizing, I think it's about 5 or 6 cryptos that they have cleared, basically, that they're willing to work with. That's huge.
Okay.
So that's the blockchain I'm working with. And the key about this, remember when I talked about Bitcoin, like if you want to move the money and it'll take you about 8 minutes, Algorand is 4 seconds. So you get transaction finality. You don't get it sent and then banks got to approve. You got to, wait a couple of days and make sure your transaction don't revert. This is in 4 seconds. It is permanent and there's no clawback. You can't freeze accounts or nothing. And I love that. So when I have a client in Denmark, when we done with the session, he sent me the money in 4 seconds. Beautiful, like, and it's quick, and we can use stable coin. We can use wherever you want to send that's on that blockchain, and that's the one I'm representing. The community is very strong, and especially with like Black people, I'm trying to get more Black people in to notice. It's not like one of the like Dogecoin, these meme coins as they call it, like a one that's like, what is the value? Like they don't know the value. I do know the value in Algorand. It is a transactional blockchain. It's for transactions. That's like period. That's what it's for. And that's why it operates in the way it does. And they solve what they call the blockchain trilemma, which is decentralization, scalability, and security. Those are the 3 components that you like need to have something of this magnitude be successful. Yeah.
Okay. And so how can they learn more about you, about what you're talking about? If they want to get educated, tell them how to follow you and find out more about your stuff.
Most definitely. So again, I'm C-Will, y'all. Definitely appreciate you, Curtis. But my channel is called Passive Income Network. And it's exactly that way. Passive, I always talk about assets that produce passive income. And then it's a network. As I said, Curtis was on. We bring professionals on from the financial sectors of the world and technology as well. Bring them together, and then we educate the audience. And again, I make tutorials and things of how to use the technology in a comfortable way. And I'll say this too, like as a Black person on the screen, people let me know it feels good to see a brother on there using the technology, because you always got to see somebody that look like you communicate. So that's doing a lot of that. I'm encouraging people to use this financial technology, because that's all it is. Money is a technology. This is the newest iteration or version. We went whatever, gold, silver, the paper dollars. Now we're slowly heading to digital dollars, which we're already there anyway.
Right.
Our debit cards, right? And our bank accounts is only a digital dollar. So yeah, so Passive Income Network. You can find me on Twitter, CWillPDX. That's SEAWIL PDX. That represents Portland. CWillPDX, basically all over the internet, and you will run into me.
All right. Are the lessons or the video on YouTube or
Yes, YouTube.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
YouTube, and you can go to CWillPDX.com for now. And then CWill courses will be up by the end of this month. And that's where you'll have the home of all my coaching courses. There'll be free workshops and things of that nature to onboard and educate people into this blockchain space. And I'll be clear, crypto is my main thing, but I definitely invest in stocks. I'm into real estate. Overall, it's about financial literacy and education. So that's the main focus. But using crypto, because crypto helped me understand it all better, basically.
I love it. I love it. So, Will, thanks for joining us on the Practical Wealth Show. So, and educating me. So, I'm asking all the dumb questions for some of y'all.
Smart
Y'all
questions.
good at this stuff, but I don't know, and so I need to know, because if I don't know it, I won't do it.
Yeah, you only know what you know.
Now I'm intrigued. Yeah, now I'm intrigued. So I had to put it in case studies. Okay, now how would I do this, right? And I always tell people, go slow, start small. We're not giving out investment advice. I'm not, Curtis is not saying to do this. I'm just saying, look, here is a guy that I've met that I think has some good stuff y'all want to hear. And then you need to follow him and do your due diligence, okay? Because you don't stop looking for somebody to give your money to. You want somebody that will teach you money.
Facts. And I'll say on my channel, I never tell you to buy anything. All I'm doing is encouraging you with the education and information. And I'm always like, hey, you go find this. I'll do the research for you, but I'm not going to tell you. I'm just teaching. I teach people how to research, like what founders, or saying this works for anything.
Yeah.
Who is the person that's talking to you? Go research that person, research their team, look at the charts if you're buying something that has a chart. Figure out, and then always start with a little bit of money and a lot of information.
All right. There you go. I'm going to let that be the final word. That's how you do it, right?
Yeah.
So start small and just do, because I probably, until I put some money in something, I won't pay attention to it. So I have to start somewhere and then say, okay, how's this doing? Because I was talking to somebody yesterday I had on the show. He says she has what she calls money dates. Penelope, she's
Money
on the
dates.
current, and meaning that she will, she literally does it like you have date night with your partner. You have a good relationship with money, so she calls it having a date night with money, right? And so at least once a month, but she does hers weekly. I actually do mine's kind of weekly, and I might do it daily, but definitely a week. And so as you look at this, and as you look at your overall situation, you see where this fits in. You see numbers tell a story. And too many of y'all y'all have been trained to set it and forget it. Hope it goes up, right? Hope ain't a good strategy. Just saying. And so you gotta, what can you remember? My 3 rules: invest in which you can influence the outcome. Don't chase returns. And if you focus on knowing, it's become, then do, then have. That's how this whole setup works. So and everybody wants to skip the become part.
Yeah.
It's too much like work, but you got to become.
Okay. Yeah, I had to become crypto.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, because investing is not risky, being uneducated is risky, because then you're just gambling. We don't like that on the Practical Wealth Show. So
I don't passive income network either.
Right. So guys, go out there. I hope this was helpful. So make sure you follow him, you check it out, send us an email and topics you want to hear more about. If there's something I should have asked that you want me to ask, I'll bring them back. Okay. And we'll go there. All right, guys, go out there. Have a great day. See, Will, thank you for being a guest on the Practical Wealth Show.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thanks for listening to Practical Wealth. To access the show notes and resources, go to practicalwealthshow.com. To get your questions on the show, go to practicalwealthshow.com. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Before you make any investment decisions, consult a professional. This show is copyrighted by Practical Wealth. Written permission must be